Welcome to the last session of my story, Getting Married by A A Milne. The honeymoon. I know I oughtn't to be dallying here, I said. I ought to be doing something strenuous in preparation for the wedding, counting the bells at St. Miriam's, or varnishing the floors in the flat, or tell me what I ought to be doing, Celia, and I'll go on not doing it for a bit. There's the honeymoon, said Celia. I knew there was something. Do tell me what you're doing about it. Thinking about it. You haven't written to anyone about rooms yet? Celia, I said reproachfully, you seem to have forgotten why I'm marrying you. When Celia was browbeaten into her present engagement, she said frankly that she was only consenting to marry me because of my pianola, which she was always coveted. In return, I pointed out that I was only asking her to marry me because I wanted somebody to write my letters. They are opened for me in that glad moment, a vista of invitations and accounts, rendered all answered promptly by Celia instead of put off till next month by me. It was a wonderful vision to me who, very properly, detests letter writing. And yet, here she was, even before the ceremony, expecting me to enter into a deliberate correspondence with all sorts of strange people who as yet had not come into my life at all. It was too much. We will get, I said, your father to write some letters for us. But what's he got to do with it? I don't want to complain to your father, Celia, but it seems to me that he is not doing his fair share. There ought to be a certain give and take in the matter. I find you a nice church to be married in. Good. He finds you a nice place to honeymoon in. Excellent. After all, you're still his daughter. All right, said Celia. I'll ask father to do it. Dear Mrs. Bunn, my little boy wants to spend his holidays with you in June. I'm writing to you if you will take care of him and see that he doesn't do anything dangerous. He has a nice disposition but wants watching. She patted my head gently. Something like that. I got up and went to the writing desk. I can see I shall have to do it myself, I sighed. Give me the address and I'll begin. But we haven't quite settled where we are going yet, have we? I put down the pen thankfully and went back to the sofa. Good. Then I needn't write today, anyhow. It is wonderful, dear, how difficulties roll away when you face them. Almost at once, we arrive at the conclusion that I needn't write today. Splendid. Well, where shall we go? This will want a lot of thought. Perhaps, I added, I needn't write tomorrow. We had almost fixed on England, hadn't we? Somebody was telling me that Linton was very beautiful. I should like to go to Linton. But everyone goes to Linton for their honeymoon. Then let's be original and go to Birmingham. The happy couple left for Birmingham where the honeymoon will be spent. Sensation. The bride left the train at Ealing. More sensation. I think the great thing, I said, trying to be businesslike, is to fix the country first. If we fixed on Rutland, then the rest would probably be easy. The great thing, said Celia, is to decide what we want. Sea or river or mountain or golf. At the word golf, I coughed and looked out of the window. Now, I am very fond of Celia, of golf, and what I really mean, of course, is that I am very fond of both of them. But I do think that on a honeymoon, Celia should come first. After all, I shall have plenty of other holidays for golf. Although, of course, 3 weeks in the summer without any golf at all. Still, I think Celia should come first. Our trouble, I said to her, is that neither of us has ever been on a honeymoon before, and so we have no idea what it will be like. After all, why should we get bored with each other? Surely we don't depend on golf to amuse us. All the same, I think your golf would amuse us, said Celia. Besides, I want to be as happy with you as possible. Yes, but supposing I was slicing my drives all the time, I should be miserable. I should be torn between the desire to go back to London and have a lesson with a professional, and the desire to stay on honeymooning with you. One can be happy in a quandary like that. Well, then, no golf. Settled? Quite. Now then, let's decide about the scenery. What sort of soil do you prefer? When I left Celia that day, we had agreed on this much, that we wouldn't bother about golf, and that the mountains, rivers, valleys, and so on should be left entirely to nature. All we were to inquire was that, in the words of an advertisement Celia had seen, a perfect spot for a honeymoon. In the course of the next day, I heard of 7 spots, varying from spot in Surrey dotted with firs to a dot in the Pacific spotted with, I forgot what, natives probably. Taken together, there were 7 only possible spots for a honeymoon. We shall have to have 7 honeymoons, I said to Celia when I told her my news. 1 honeymoon, 1 spot. Wait, she said, I have heard of an ideal spot. Speaking as a spot expert, I don't think that's necessarily better than an only possible spot, I objected. Still, tell me about it. Well, to begin with, it's close to the sea. So we can bathe when we're bored. Good. And it's got a river if you want to fish. I don't. I should hate to catch a fish who was perhaps on his honeymoon too. Still, I like the idea of a river. And quite a good mountain and lovely walks, and in fact everything except a picture palace. Luckily. It sounds all right, I said doubtfully. We might just spend the day or two thinking about my 7 spots, and then I might possibly feel strong enough to write. Oh, I nearly forgot. I have written, Ronald. You have? I cried. Then, my dear, what else matters? It's a perfect spot. I lay back in relief. And there, thank heavens, is another thing settled. Bless you. Yes, and by the way, there is golf quite close to. But that, she smiled, needn't prevent us going there. Of course not. We shall just ignore the course. Perhaps, so as to be on the safe side, you'd better leave your clubs behind. Perhaps I'd better, I said carelessly. All the same, I don't think I will. No one ever knows what may happen, and at the outset of one's matrimonial career, to have to go to the expense of a newly bought set of clubs would be a most regrettable business. That's all, folks. Thank you for listening, and please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And yes, I promise I will be giving a whole new story on the next episode. Thank you, and join me on the next episode this Saturday. Goodbye.